So welcome back, everyone. You saw 12 demos this morning, 12 more this afternoon. Before I dive into mine, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's happening in the financial markets, because I think this is important. We're in the process of spending an unprecedented amount of money shoring up this financial system. Hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars even. And it's all going to go to waste if we don't address the root causes that got us into this mess to begin with. Everybody knows that we got into this problem because too many people took out mortgages they couldn't pay off. But what doesn't get reported on in the media, what doesn't get talked about as much, is a fundamental structural problem with the way a consumer, the way a bank goes about acquiring a consumer for a mortgage. And it's a process that hasn't really changed in 100 years. The products are too complicated, there's too many lenders, and so as a result, the consumer ends up basically outsourcing the decision-making process. They end up going to an intermediary, so that intermediary can be a broker who is not necessarily tied in, not necessarily incentivized to give the consumer the best deal, or they go to a website, many of these websites who basically take all your personal data and just sell it off to the highest bidder. So the SmartHippo approach is really what I think is going to be, we don't have all the answers, but I think we have a key piece that can really solve some of these problems and change the way banking works going forward, so we don't end up in this problem again, in this mess again in another 2-3 years. So SmartHippo, what's SmartHippo? SmartHippo is basically a community. We're a community site where consumers help each other save money and find better deals. And the idea is that one consumer going up against this whole system is going to be completely hopeless and powerless. But if you could combine the collective intelligence, the collective power of a group of consumers, then all of a sudden you can start changing the way the industry works. And you can think of people who've grown up on Facebook and MySpace are not, as they get older and start purchasing financial products, they're not going to go for this black box system where you've got a black box that's making all of your decisions for you without any inputs. So really quickly on SmartHippo, what can we do? Our first vertical is mortgages. That's what I'm going to show you today. We've got reviews, so I can see here some of the most recent reviews posted by members of the community. And then I've also got a leaderboard where I can see lenders who have the most reviews in the system. So if I drill down, let's say to City Mortgage, I can see there's 4 reviews. And if I drill down into one of the reviews, we're actually letting the consumer rate not just an overall rating. 4 out of 5 is good, but we let them rate specific elements. So customer service, your loan terms, your closing process, disclosure also, which is a big factor in mortgages. As we start having more data, we're going to let consumers decide for themselves what's more important. So having a good rate may be more important to most people. Well, someone might be willing to pay a bit more for a quicker closing process. One of the other things on SmartHippo is, I'm going to demo this for you real quick, is a rate engine. And what we've done with our rate engine, and I'm actually going to demo you the version that we're actually launching. This is a preview of what we're launching this month. It's a revamped rate search engine that has over 200 lenders in it. I'm going to put in my criteria, do a search, and what we're doing is we're actually combining, so we're the first site of our type to actually combine different sources of data that we're going to feed to the consumer. As the rates are coming in, what you see on the left-hand side of the screen is I'm showing rates, if I look over here, that are being fed to us by lenders. I'm also pulling rates from a bot that we have that just goes out and crawls lender sites. So the lenders that are not part of our network or that aren't a member of our site, their rates still get indexed. And then the really cool thing is I have other hippos, so other users, other members of the community who can contribute, who can share the rates that they've actually received. There's really 2 key innovations here. Number one is on the lender side, we let any lender feed us their rates. We don't charge them to be in our site and to feed rates to SmartHippo. What that does is it levels the playing field. In many cases, the best deal is at a small community credit union, and these guys don't have the marketing budget to be on TV or to pay some of these websites for advertising. On SmartHippo, the rates that float to the top are the ones that are the best rates and the ones that have the best feedback according to the community. That's it. So I can sort by rate. I can also sort by rating, so I can look at what the community feedback is on these rates. And again, some of this data is supplied by the lending institution itself, but some of them, there's a rate here, are actually just supplied by members of the community. And what we do is we have an engine that'll go in and match consumers that have a similar risk profile. So you're not going to see rates being fed by a customer in a different state or a customer that has completely different credit profile. And we think this is actually really key to solving some of the problems that we have out there. If you think of the way Google works, Google doesn't monetize every single link in their site, right? They're providing something that just fundamentally solves a problem and addresses what users want. And we think that that's what's been missing in the mortgage space. The next step after this is really going into other verticals as well. Just to wrap it up, I think we're really, I think everybody in this room realizes we're at a very defining moment in terms of how the economy works and how we, work with finance. I think the financial services industry is going to look radically different than it does today in another 5 years. And if you're interested in discussing our vision, the SmartHippo version of what that's going to look like and our role to play in that, I'd invite you to come join us at our booth later on. Thank you.